Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bienvenue tout le monde. Si je peux vous demander de porter attention au micro en avant, pas nécessairement à moi, plutôt au micro. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to start off by welcoming everybody here tonight to the 2018 West Nipissing Municipal Elections. My name is Daniel Marleau, and I will be acting as moderator tonight. Moderator, a term that scared me a little when I got here. I thought it was more MC, but now moderator is apparently I have to control this crowd. Donc, je vous souhaite la plus cordiale des bienvenues aux élections municipales 2018 de Nipissing West. This evening event was organized and is hosted by the West Nipissing Chamber of Commerce. Donc, la soirée est organisée et gérée par la Chambre des commerces du Nipissing West. Merci à tous les gens qui ont travaillé très très fort. Thank you everyone who worked very hard to organize this event. Thank you especially to all the candidates who are here tonight attending this event. I'm sure it's not easy. Know that there will be some time, an opportunity to mingle with the candidates after the debate itself. Donc je remercie tous les candidats municipaux d'être parmi nous ce soir. Merci à vous tous. Sachez que vous aurez l'opportunité de jaser brièvement avec les candidats, tous les candidats, suite à cette soirée. Know that the event will be recorded tonight, and apparently it will be posted online. I'm not sure if it's YouTube or whatnot, but it will be posted online in the coming days, and we will let you know when and where this is, and where you will be able to have access to all of this. Donc l'événement est enregistré, il sera diffusé en ligne dans les prochains quelques jours. Donc pour les gens qui ne sont pas ici, vous allez avoir l'opportunité de visualiser le débat de ce soir. So prior to the debate, all the candidates in a few minutes will be given 90 seconds each to introduce themselves. Donc, tous les candidats auront 90 secondes afin de venir ici au micro et se présenter, vous adresser la parole et se présenter. Apparently that questions have been submitted to the Chamber of Commerce over the past few weeks. These questions will form the basis of the first section of this debate. Donc, des questions ont été soumises à la Chambre des commerces depuis les dernières quelques semaines. Ceux-ci ont été triés, sélectionnés. Celles-ci seront posées aussi en premier pour former ce qui comprendra la première partie de notre soirée de ce soir. There will also be an opportunity for all the members here of the audience to submit their questions. Now, apparently we have submission forms here at the back of the hall. You will be able to grab a form, write the question down, and either bring it to the panel, or we have Michael Tspi somewhere in the crowd. Michael Tspi, behind all of you, that will be willing to go to your seat, grab the form for you, and bring it to the panel so it will be monitored. Donc vous aurez la chance de soumettre vos propres questions. Des formulaires de soumission de questions sont disponibles en arrière de la salle, ainsi que des stylos. Ceux-ci vont pouvoir être ramassés par Michael Dupuis, qui est assez gentil d'être ici parmi nous ce soir, qui va prendre vos questions et les amener au panel pour la fin de se trier. So please note that due to the size of the candidate pool this year, and it's amazing that we have that choice, we will only be able to go through a few selected questions, probably not all of them, but nonetheless, we still invite you to submit all your questions to the panel. Donc, les candidats know that all the questions, once they're asked, the candidates will have a provided time limit with the questions after the question has been asked. Donc, les candidats seront limités à une certaine durée pour répondre aux questions. I'd like to ask all the other candidates to keep an eye on the table, the panel table right here, for the pallets, or what do we have? Paddles. So we have a green paddle that tells you to go ahead and answer the question. Une palette jaune that will tell you that you have 15 seconds left to answer the question or with your comments, and then a red paddle that tells you that your allotted time is over. After that, apparently that's where I come in, and I'd like you to respect that time because I didn't stretch or anything like that tonight. I'm getting a little old. Donc, les gens, on demande à tous les candidats de porter attention à la table. les gens, les membres du panel auront des palettes, une palette jaune qui leur laisse savoir aux candidats qu'il reste seulement que 15 secondes à répondre. Et ensuite, une palette rouge qui leur laisse savoir que leur temps est alloué ou est écoulé, pardon. Our timekeepers for the evening are Stuart Seville. Thank you, Stuart, and Gail Primo. Thank you, Gail. Again, throughout the question period, the timekeepers will raise the flags and let you know of the time that's left, or if it's done. Sylvain Bilodeau. Thank you, Sylvain is here tonight. He will be, Sylvain will be, what will he be? He'll be walking in front of the candidates, handing them mic and whatnot. Know that all the candidates, tous les candidats ce soir seront alloués ou sont alloués 3 cartes rouges. Si vous me permettez, Monsieur Demers. All the candidates have been provided 3 of these, what we call rebuttal cards. Now they are allowed, they have the droit to use all these rebuttal cards, 3 each, anytime during the evening. And this is to rebuttal the comments or answers of another candidate. Donc c'est pour réfuter les commentaires, les paroles, les questions, pardon, les réponses d'un autre candidat. Une fois que vous avez réfuté la question, once you have rebutted, Sylvain will be walking around to pick up these questions to make sure that nobody uses more than 3. You have 30 seconds to rebuttal. Donc vous avez 30 secondes à réfuter un commentaire ou une question. Merci, Monsieur Demers. What else do I have to let you know? Questions will be asked. Okay, so know this. Questions will be asked in both French and English. All the candidates will have the choice to respond in the language of their choice, and that's for the questions and the rebuttal themselves. Donc, toutes les questions seront posées en anglais et en français. Le candidat a le choix de répondre dans la langue de son choix. Ceci, c'est pour les réponses ainsi que la récitation. The candidates will be asked questions by the community member panel, which is on my right, your left, your right. All the questions submitted this evening will be subject to review by the panel. Donc, if you do submit a question, sachez que ces questions seront triées et monitorées, peut-être ajustées un peu, afin de poser la question in order to ask the questions in a well-behaved manner, not to be threatening at all. When you do submit your questions, if you do write down the questions, we ask you to address your questions or set an intention to group. Example, either the mayoral candidates or the ward candidates, and not a person in particular. Donc, on vous demande d'intentionner la réponse, pardon, la question à un groupe de gens, donc les conseillers candidats ou les candidats qui se présentent pour la mairie, plutôt qu'une personne en particulier. Please be aware, this is not my writing, this isn't not coming from me, so please be aware that we expect a civil event tonight from the candidates and the audience. We're all well dressed, so this isn't a wrestling match. Intentional disruptions will hold up the evening. We want to finish by 9 o'clock. Some people here in the audience have kids to put to bed, and I myself have a roast in the oven. So on demande à tout le monde de se porter de façon civilisée et respectable afin que la soirée se déroule de façon respectable et agréable pour tout le monde. Donc, I wish you a pleasant, productive evening. Je vous souhaite une soirée très agréable et productive. Et passons avec l'introduction des candidats. So first off, let's ask Monsieur Ronald Demers to come up to the mic in order to introduce himself. Monsieur Demers.
Merci Daniel. Ma vie en 90 secondes. Natif de Verner, fils de cultivateur, 11e d'une famille de 15 enfants, époux de Claire, parent de 7 enfants et de 8 petits-enfants. Employed by Weyerhaeuser until its closure, machinist by trade. My auto mechanic says that I'm very frugal. En français, we say cheap. And for that reason, he would vote for me. And I quote, "If you are as careful with taxpayers' money as you are with your own, you will be a good mayor." The theme, the slogan, the devise that we have selected for this campaign is "Trust brings people together." La confiance nous rassemble. In my opinion, without trust, nothing gets done. It is something that you earn. It's not something that you can command. I believe that my experience as a school trustee, several as chairman, my life experiences as a husband, a father, a grandfather, a business owner, operator, laborer, qualifies me to represent you. While a trustee, whenever I would need to travel, I would more often than not, take the bus. But throughout those years, I've never thrown anybody under it. In closing, I wish to affirm to you that if there is a slate, I do not belong to it or partake in the activities or their agenda. I am independent. J'anticipe que vous avez des questions et qu'il me fera plaisir de vous les adresser. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Demers. I'd like to invite now up to the mic Mr. Russell Dunn, Mayoral candidate.
My name is Russell Dunn. I'm a retired mechanic, computer engineer, and businessman. I've had the joy of moving to Sturgeon Falls, and I was welcomed with open arms and hearts. The people of Sturgeon Falls have touched me and made me want to make this town my home. I want to see this town progress into the future by trying to bring new jobs, new life, new money, and create spin-offs at all businesses, small, large. The family business of a farm will benefit. This is a beautiful area, both recreationally and with the potential of great business. We can do it. We have wonderful people. Our aging population has brought us to this point. It is up to us, the youth, to come in, fill the gaps, and take care of them as well as ourselves. I'm a father, a grandfather, believe it or not, and I do my best for this community, for you, the people who make it my home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Nous invitons maintenant M. Donald Leblanc. Ça va sur le micro pour se présenter. M. Leblanc.
Bonjour, bonjour. Pour tout le monde qui me connaisse, je pense que tout le monde me connaît, mais beaucoup de monde qui me connaît comme Don the Butcher. Alors, je suis né à Sturgeon. I was born and raised in Sturgeon Falls. My parents had a business in Sturgeon Falls on Salter Street. So I kind of grew with that. So I've been in business myself for 19 years in Sturgeon Falls, helping out throughout the community. I'm well known for that. I've been supporting, I believe, I've been in all wards as far as supporting schools, baseball teams, you name it. So what I'm saying with that is my passion is there for the community. I will work nameless hours to make sure this community goes forward and taking care of our tax dollars that will not be spent wrongly. I think my business experience with the staff at one point with 42 employees make me a good candidate to support and work with a council. Merci beaucoup et j'espère que vous votez pour Don. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, M. Leblanc. Last but not least, nous invitons the fourth mayoral candidate, Mme Joanne Savage, à savoir sur le micro. Mme Savage.
Bonsoir, good evening, chers amis. I'm seeking a new term as mayor because I had the time, the energy, the drive, and the enthusiasm, a positive outlook, experience, and a connaissance. Most of all, I have the passion and the well-being of all communities of West Nipissing and every one of you, and mostly all the people. My experience as a councillor and as mayor will be vital for the various complex issues that we need to deal with the various projects, for all groups, for our youth, our seniors, for the businesses, and for the well-being of our communities. We also have to focus on the economic, social progress of West Nipissing. One of the many responsibilities of mayor is to promote and engage active participation of all residents. I will be conducting information and feedback session in every community every 2 months. I want to hear what your feedback is, what your concerns are, what works, what doesn't work, and what can council do to be able to look at moving the communities forward. I have been actively involved, committed, and devoted, and actively present within all communities in all boundaries of West Nipissing. I am visible, accessible, and I speak to everyone at all times and not just during an election period. Leadership is promoting openness, involvement, active participation, to work as a team in a professional and respectful way. Yes, challenges were experienced in the last 2 years, but they were not a trust issue. They were more appropriately described as a resistance to a fair democratic process and not obtaining answers to questions that were seeked. My focus remained the same and will continue to work for you and on your behalf. Thank you, merci, miigwech.
Merci, Joanne Savage. Now let's start with Ward 1, the candidates for Ward 1. Know that tonight you'll have the opportunity to hear the answers and the introductions from the candidates from Ward 1 through 4. Tomorrow night in Verner at the Arena, I believe, Jordan. So at the Arena in Verner, vous allez avoir la chance d'écouter les commentaires, les questions, les réponses et les présentations des gens qui se sont présentés comme candidats pour les wards de 5 à 8. So we have wards 1 through 4 tonight. Let's start with the first candidate for Ward 1. Nous invitons M. Serge Bourgoin au micro. M. Bourgoin.
Thank you very much. I'm not that tall. My name is Serge Bourgoin. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Mon nom c'est Serge Bourgoin. Je vous remercie tout pour être venu sortir ici à soir. I am a family man. I have a wife and 4 kids. My wife and I moved here, made Sturgeon Falls and West Nipissing our home. We started off the Great Northern Flea Market on Salter. We didn't bring just one business to town. We brought 80 to 95 businesses to town, which was huge for Sturgeon Falls and West Nipissing. And a lot of people come in from out of town to come and visit the flea market. I think it's time for change. It's time for accountability. It's time for teamwork. Time to rectify all past and present issues. It's time for honesty and time for respect. And I think everybody deserves that, and it's time to be heard. As great as our community is, there was always room for improvement. Time for change. I'd like you to vote for someone who will work with you and for you. Again, my name is Serge Bourgoin. Thank you very much, and good night.
Merci, M. Bourgoin. Thank you, M. Bourgoin. The second candidate for Ward 1, je vous présente Mme Denise Brisson.
Bonsoir, good evening. Je suis Denise Brisson, citoyenne de Sturgeon Falls depuis 1986. Retired insurance broker, full-time grandmother and wife. Councillor for Ward 1 for the last 2 terms. Comme conseil municipal, nous avons accompli beaucoup ces dernières années. Not one politician has done miracles, and nor will I. But as a team, we can certainly try. En frappant aux portes durant la campagne, plusieurs m'ont demandé, quel sera votre plus gros défi? L'infrastructure, biggest challenge is getting funding that will help us repair and maintain our roads, bridges, sewage, and water. We have approximately 1,200 square kilometers of roads, old and inefficient sewer system, Progress is being made, but slowly. Au château, de grosses décisions vont être prises durant les prochains 4 ans. The forced redevelopment with no funding will be a huge challenge. Then, a most contentious file in the very near future, the transition to OPP from West Nipissing. A forecasted savings of $800,000 per year versus no saving by West Nipissing Police. As a business, we cannot pass on those savings. To move forward, sometimes a change in service delivery is imminent. Il y en a beaucoup d'autres fichiers que je pourrais mentionner et être adressés. A collective, collaborative effort of all mayor and council members will ensure our municipality moves forward, expands, and prospers. Merci.
Finalement, la troisième et dernière candidate pour le quartier 1, je vous présente Lise Sénécal.
Avant de commencer, vous savez, c'est un défi, 90 secondes pour parler pour moi. Alors, j'ai décidé de le faire un peu en français, puis le corps en anglais, pour m'assurer que je peux dire ce que j'ai dit en 90 secondes. Alors, je commence. Mon nom est Lise Sénécal, et je veux candidate pour le quartier numéro 1. I will make use to this 90 seconds to explain why I decided to add my name to run as councillor for Ward number 1 to be sitting on council of West Nipissing for the next term. While I believe in democracy, I also believe that the councillor have the responsibility to make decisions on behalf of the people that have elected them. Therefore, they become responsible for their action, and they are expected to justify, to explain, to rationalize, to provide answer, which mean accountability. Their decision must be made based on the need of the community, not on personal preference, not on personal agenda, and certainly not on grudges. Elected officials must show integrity at all times. Since my return in October, I have witnessed her decision made by councillors that did not fit those criteria. Therefore, this is why I have take a very strong position on the policing issue and the outcome of it. This is why I'm not against the OPP. I'm not against the police officer, and thank you very much. I told you I wouldn't make it, but I will have a chance to answer your question. Thank you very much.
Please remember, I was asked to do this, so don't wait for me in a parking lot after this debate.
I would do a little bit farther because nobody will see me.
Thank you. Let's move on to the candidates for Ward 2. Le premier candidat, je vous présente Pierre Deforge.
Good evening, bonsoir à tous. My name is Pierre Deforge, I'm my candidate for Ward 2. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been self-employed for 25 years, working with the public and transportation sector. I've volunteered my time to organize the Shop at the Cop barbecue for the last 4 years. I have business experience which will be an asset as a councillor, and I will give my 110% to represent you with integrity, and I will work very hard towards making West Nipissing a vibrant community. I consider myself to be creative, resourceful, and eager to learn. By electing me as a councillor for Ward 2, you will give me the opportunity to participate along my colleagues to make important change and progress to our community. It will also ensure that your voice is being heard. Your voice is my voice. Votre voix est ma voix. West Nipissing is changing, and as a community we need to make different and hard decisions about our future and our children's future. Everybody deserves a chance to get involved in all the many potential projects. I will bring a fresh approach to council with new ideas of how to attract tourism to the area, to improve opportunity to all, to make West Nipissing a community where people want to live and work in. We need our councillors to work in harmony and to listen to the people that we represent. As a business owner, I have a relationship and experience of working with the community. Together we can make a difference. I would like to conclude by asking the residents of Ward 2, j'aimerais demander aux résidents du quartier 2 de voter pour moi. Merci, thank you.
Merci, Monsieur Deforge. Let me welcome the third candidate for Ward 2. Please welcome Mr. Steve Morrison. Monsieur Mallette, pardon. You're right. Monsieur Léo Mallette.
Merci, Monsieur Marleau. Bonsoir, good evening. Thank you all for being here this evening. Merci à toute ma famille, mes amis et les gens du quartier numéro 2 pour votre support les dernières années, 12 années. Thank you all to the people of Ward 2 for your support for the last 12 years. I am presently Deputy Mayor, Chairman of the Board of the Château, Vice Chair of the West Nipissing Nonprofit Housing, aussi présentement sur le comité du musée et le comité du cimetière dans le Nipissing West. I was also Councillor and Mayor for the town of Cache Bay for a number of years. Rumors are that I was too ill to continue to represent you for the next term. True, I did have bladder cancer, but I've been cancer for the last. I've been taking treatment for the last 6 months. But with excellent care with West Nipissing General Hospital and the Sudbury Cancer Center, I am now cancer-free. Pendant les dernières années, nous avons eu un nouveau quai à Cache Bay, and with the help of the volunteers and the Cafe firefighters, the construction of a kids park and a splash park at the community center in Cache Bay. We are in the process of repaving LeBlanc, Lalande, Fort, and Bay Road. One priority for me is to see the commencement of the redevelopment of the Château. Pour garder nos aînés dans notre communauté bilingue. We are also shovel ready for another seniors building underground for the Château. I promise to continue to be a team player at the table. With integrity, honesty, and transparency, please vote for Leo Mallette. Merci. Thank you very much.
Merci, Monsieur Mallette. Now, please welcome the third candidate for Ward 2, Mr. Steve Morrison.
Merci, Daniel. Good evening, bonsoir. Born and raised here in Sturgeon Falls, I returned from Southern Ontario 12 years ago in order to raise my own family here. I'm a family man, a businessman who wants to see West Nipissing flourish for young and old. For many years, I've been involved in creating jobs, training students, and giving back to the community. Comme citoyen, je veux continuer d'investir dans notre communauté et comme vous, je possède la joie de vivre du Nipissing West. West Nipissing is our home, and there is no better place to enjoy life here with family and friends. I am an entrepreneur with years of experience in the public sector, building various infrastructure projects across Canada. I have worked alongside many municipal and educational leaders, and I am well aware of the many challenges northern communities such as ours encounter. As a local business leader, I am committed to investing in our future. I believe in efficiency and resourcefulness to get the job done. I can find innovative and practical solutions that save taxpayers money while maximizing our local services. Il existe tellement de possibilités pour nous ici dans le Nipissing West. I want to see West Nipissing prosper as we attract new investments, new projects, and new ideas. Together, we will continue to build on the joie de vivre as we focus on our tremendous potential for economic and social growth in the years to come. So on October 22nd, please vote for Steve Morrison, Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Please welcome the fourth and final candidate for Ward 2. Accueillez s'il vous plaît Madame Christine Ribarty.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Hello, my name is Christine Ribarty and a longtime resident of West Nipissing. I have been attending council meetings for the past 2 years. Also, I attended a boot camp in March 2018 in North Bay that was given by an organization that is called Politics Now for Women, engaging Northern Ontario women in politics. Also, there was 4 seminars through this organization in August of this year, which I took. So my idea of running for council was not, let's do it. I thought long and hard, took steps to inform myself. We need a council that will be open, honest, accountable, transparent, and to restore the credibility of council. As an elected official, I would like to implement an asset management plan, a 10-year roads need study to assess and maintain the road system within West Nipissing. This study would be done by a consulting engineering firm. So they would study all the roads and come back with recommendations for our roads. Also, I want to be your voice, making sure your concerns are heard and get answers to those questions you may have. Thank you. Merci.
Merci, Madame Rivardi. Passons maintenant au candidat pour le quartier 3. The first candidate for Ward 3. Please welcome Monsieur Yvon Duhaime.
Monsieur Mayoral, so we wait for the word go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yvon Duhaime from Yvon Duhaime. I'm seeking re-election in Ward 3. This year marks my 20th year in politics. At the age of 27, I was elected school board trustee in the French language section, and for 7 years I was councillor for the town of Sturgeon Falls. 4 years as councillor for the Municipal of West Nipissing, and I served several terms as president of West Nipissing Chamber of Commerce and president of the former Sturgeon Falls Ratepayers Association. I served as a deputy conservation officer for the Ministry of Natural Resources. I'm married to Patricia, proud father of 4, and loving grandfather of 8. I'm a plumber, gas fitter by trade, and I've owned various businesses throughout West Nipissing. I have the reputation for speaking out on issues of importance to the community. I believe in honesty, clarity, and in municipal politics. My priorities will resolve around this concerns of the constituents. I listen, I act, and that's how I come forward with ideas for improving community life. I work continuously, I never say stop, and I have always made honest efforts to address the needs of all the taxpayers. It is important to address the concerns of our citizens in need. I am responsible because I care. I keep my ears and my mind open. As you know, Ward 3 encompasses a small part of this community. It has been developing, and I feel that there is a need to look and then I will build the wall.
Merci, M. Duhaime. Accueillez, s'il vous plaît, le deuxième candidat, the second candidate for Ward 3, M. Daniel Gagné.
Bonjour tout le monde, mon nom c'est Daniel Gagné. Je demeure à Sturgeon Falls depuis toute ma vie. J'ai travaillé au Collège Boréal de Sudbury pour 7 ans. J'ai fait de la navette pendant ces temps-là, j'ai toujours resté à Sturgeon. Et depuis ce temps-là, je travaille au Conseil franco-nord à North Bay, qui dessert nos écoles catholiques francophones de la région. Beaucoup de gens m'ont demandé pourquoi tu te présentes. Je pense que je peux faire un impact positif et amener des idées de personnes jeunes et de différentes perspectives. Je suis un gars qui travaille en technologie, je suis directeur informatique au conseil, et puis je pense que j'ai toute la composante côté technologique pour nous aider à économiser de l'argent, nous sauver du temps. Une des choses que j'aimerais apporter aussi, ça serait de vous promettre une bonne responsabilité financière des taxes fonctionnaires et aussi d'être innovateur dans nos idées, de travailler en équipe et aussi de pouvoir collaborer avec les gens, d'écouter les gens du quartier 3, de pouvoir communiquer avec vous sur une base régulière et non pas seulement 6 mois avant les élections. And also I'd like to thank my wife, my 2 kids, and my parents for supporting me for doing this. It's my first time. It's a bit harder than I thought, but I'm not afraid to work hard. J'aime travailler fort, et puis je vous promets que vous n'allez pas être désappointés. I'd like to wish good luck to everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
There will be the construction of a second wall. Accueillez maintenant le troisième candidat, third candidate for Ward 3, M. Pat Kyo.
Bonsoir, good evening. I am Pat Kyo. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a coach, I'm a veteran of the Armed Forces and a proud resident of my hometown. I served my country for 22 years, traveled near and far, and after a few years in the private sector now, I want to serve my municipality and I'm ready to serve you. When I moved back home, I felt home was just the same, or it wasn't the same. Maybe it was me that changed, or maybe I was different, and I felt that through my experiences, I could somehow help. So I volunteered, I volunteered with the Chamber of Commerce. I've been president there for 2 years. Economic Partners, West Nipissing Agricultural Task Force. I coach the Sturgeon Falls Sharks swim team, and I've been a big part of organizing the Feast on the Farm event. Ward 3 and West Nipissing need a vision, they need a mission, and they need goals. When elected, I'm ready to work with newly elected council to set forth a plan that will keep us safe, secure, and healthy for years to come. Je m'appelle Pat Pillot, je suis père, époux, coach, vétéran des Forces armées canadiennes après 22 ans de service et fier résident de ma ville d'origine. Je suis maintenant prêt à servir ma municipalité. Depuis mon retour, je me suis porté volontaire dans plusieurs secteurs, chambre de commerce, Economic Partners, secteur agricole, je suis coach d'équipe de natation, et finalement, j'ai fait partie du Feast on the Farm. Puis, quartier 3 et Nipissing West ont besoin d'une vision, une mission plus précise. Je suis prêt à travailler avec le conseil pour détailler un plan qui me sera en bonne condition et sécure. Remember, change is good.
Let's move on to Ward 4, the final ward for tonight. The first candidate, please welcome Mr. Jamie Restool.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, everyone. And thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for all your hard work in organizing this event this evening. My name is Jamie Restool, and I've been representing Ward 4 for the past 3 terms of council. And with support of constituents, I hope to serve my 4th term beginning this fall. As a lifelong resident of West Nipissing and with a young family of 4, many concerns you have are the same concerns I have. The increasing drug issues in our community, aging infrastructure, care for our parents and seniors, activities for our youth, and economic development. We can't have a healthy community if we don't have healthy community members. Developing and implementing a strategic plan on the drug issue is going to be key. This should involve police services, West Nipissing General Hospital, the Community Health Center, and all other partners within West Nipissing. Michaud Street, Golf Course Road, Goulard Road, Laval Drive, not to mention the sidewalks to Canadian Tire and No Frills are key infrastructure results that we've achieved in Ward 4. Policing is a big issue. For myself, the real issue in policing was more about the process. Questions should have been answered before voting on such a major issue. A question I have for each of you as taxpayers to consider is how much will your taxes increase in 2019 if change is made official and severance, pension costs, and an $8 million building need to be paid for? We've all heard about the projected savings 8 years from now, but how much is it going to cost you next year? Redevelopment of Beauchateau is a major initiative that we must be prepared for. It will likely be a costly project, and I'll talk more about this later if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Restool. And finally, the last candidate for Ward 4, accueillez s'il vous plaît, Monsieur Dan Rivera.
It's always hard to be the last person on the slate, but I'll try my best. Merci à tous d'être ici ce soir. Le nombre qui est ici, ça démontre votre intérêt dans notre communauté. Je m'appelle Dan Rivera. Je suis résident dans mon quartier, ça fait 40 ans. Et je reste dans la même maison, ça fait 34 ans, où moi et Cynthia, on a élevé nos enfants, Jean-Grégoire, Frédéric et Mathieu. As a lifelong resident of West Nipissing, I am running for Ward 4. I was educated and I guess raised in West Nipissing. I love this community and I've been here from day one. My formal education is a Master of Education, Masters of Public Administration, which doesn't really mean much, but it does give me the capabilities to analyze situations and work on great plans. Daniel, tu aurais dû ramasser ton affaire. My work experience is 37 and a half years in the public service with the social economic departments and ministry, both at the provincial and federal government, so I know how government works. I know how the deputy ministers work, and I know how the ministers work. My experience as a volunteer in the community demonstrates my love of this community. For the last period of time, I've been working with the community and trying to bring things to them. What you can expect from me is I'll push for a strategic plan. I'll ensure that tax rates are well spent. I'll seek our fair share of provincial and federal money. And I'll implement a recreation plan with a recreation committee for our youth, adults, and them. And I'm going to take down the wall, Mr. Dan. So thank you very much. Vote for me, please.
Now we move on to the questions. A reminder that the first 4 questions that will be asked have been sent by the community, members of the community, in the last few weeks and monitored by the panel itself. Donc les prochaines questions, les 4 prochaines questions qui seront posées ont été envoyées et reçues par la Chambre des commerces depuis les dernières quelques semaines. I'm translating this as I go along on the spot, so please bear with me. La première question est adressée aux candidats pour la mairie. Donc this first question is attention for the mayoral candidates. Quels sont ou quel est votre plan afin d'assurer une meilleure rétention pour la jeunesse dans le Nipissing West? Et on vous demande d'être spécifique avec vos réponses. Donc, what is your plan for greater retention of the youth in West Nipissing? Please be specific. The order of the answers, we ask Monsieur Ronald Demers to answer first. We ask you to stand up, Monsieur Demers, and Sylvain will give you the mic.
If there was an easy fix to this question, it would have been done a long time ago. The question suggests that what can I do? I'm returning the question with the following word: what can we do? It's not something one person can do alone. I'd like to quote from you something from a book by Doug Griffiths. It says the point is not about finding ways to keep our youth from leaving. We have to let them go sometimes. It is dependent on us finding the reasons for them to want to come back. And I think this is something that we have to work on as a community. It's not a problem, a Sturgeon problem. It's not a West Nipissing problem. It's not a problem for small communities. It's a problem, it's an overall problem. It's throughout the country, it's throughout the world. With everything that's going on in politics, the negativism, we have to work together unless we do. And we have to tap in what the experts are going to suggest that we do. But we're not talking about reinventing the wheel. There's an awful lot of documentation that we can use for our purpose, for the purpose of serving the youth of this area.
Merci, M. Demers. Nous passons le micro maintenant à Mr. Russell Dunn.
This is a very important issue. Our kids are leaving, not just because they want to get away from their adult parents. They want to go out and discover the world for themselves. But along that way of getting out, they're getting in trouble. There isn't enough for them to do to occupy their time while they're making up their mind where they want to go. There are government programs that we can tap into. In some other communities, some of the graduation process is students are required to do 20 hours to 30 hours community service. Why not use these hours to work with other children? Babysitting courses, drug addiction awareness, sports, games. Keep the kids active. Keep the kids interested in the community. Make programs for them that they can and will want to stay. If there's places for them to work when they're done school or waiting to go to school, it's all better for them. It's better for us. It keeps our kids handy. And as parents, we like to have them close. It's a normal that they will want to go away to school. And it's for us to make their travel up until the time they go to school as safe and healthy as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Accueillons maintenant M. Leblanc à répondre à la même question.
Merci. Bonjour. Well, I believe actually the program existed in our schools when I went to school. We do have workshops in school. They try to prepare us for the outside world and so on. But now, to keep our youths more in this community, well, maybe we have to look at these programs and make them better. We have to give our youths more educational entrepreneurship. We just said a while ago we have an aging population. We have an aging population, well, we have to be replaced. There'll be a lot of jobs available in West Nipissing. Let's train these students. Let's give them financial literacy. Let's give them tours of business. Let's bring them to Don's Butcher Shop for a day and see what goes on. Let's bring them to Tim Hortons. Maybe they'll be the new owners later on. Educational workshop, financial literacy, inform our youths of the aging population, give them opportunities, work with Chamber of Commerce, economic partners, our politicians, our MPs, our provincial, federal government. Oh, keep our kids in town. I don't believe our kids are leaving. Our students will, of course, we won't all stay in West Nipissing. That's all our choices. But I mean...
Merci, Monsieur Leblanc.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there is a one. I wasn't watching, sorry. Elsie?
Finalement, demandons à Mme Joanne Savage de répondre à la même question.
Merci. I see this as twofold, deux volets. Reality, our youth are leaving to pursue education and pursue employment. And what we need to focus on, not just locally, but on a regional level, with our neighbors and with the provincial and federal government in the educational sector, is making sure that we have a proper labor market analysis, the type of jobs that are existing within the boundaries of our municipality and neighboring communities. We also need to pursue economic development and implement the strategies that will create the jobs for the skill set that these youth have left the area to go train. It's not an easy fix, but you need the will and the way, and having the proper partners and having the proper structure in place to be able to focus on the priority of getting our youth to move back in West Nipissing, so we can definitely have young families that will continue to live, work, and enjoy West Nipissing and enjoy joie de vivre. Thank you, merci.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Savage. This second question is intended for the ward candidates. Donc, la deuxième question est intentionnée pour les candidats des quartiers. Now, pardon the lack of proper translation here, le International Plowing Match aura lieu à Verner en 2019. Qu'allez-vous faire pour assurer le succès de cet événement? So the International Plowing Match is coming to Verner in 2019. What will you do to assure the success of this event? We start off in the same order they presented themselves, so nous commençons. No, yes, Monsieur Bourgoin.
Thank you very much. I understand that there is a committee that takes care of the International Plowing Match. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I can assure you that when elected, I will do whatever it takes, whatever they need to make it happen. As long as we don't get into a big deficit, I think it'll be a win-win situation. I think if we look at some kind of bus transfers so that people that don't have transportation can get out there and entertain and go and have fun at these events and get out there. I think a lot of our problems that people don't have ways of getting there lots of times, so our turnouts are not as big. So I think that stuff like that would be a big asset to this lovely thing coming to West Nipissing.
Thank you, Mr. Bourgoin. Just a reminder, folks, that the candidates for the wards, les candidats pour les quartiers, n'ont que seulement 60 secondes à répondre à la... Tandis que les candidats pour les maires avec 90 secondes. So the ward candidates only have 60 seconds to answer the question. Deuxième candidate, Madame Brisson.
Merci. What an economic boost this will be. It's been said that over 20 million in revenues, as per the Ministry of Tourism, can be generated, and hundreds of thousands of tourists in our area. It gives us a great opportunity to showcase West Nipissing as the jewel of the North. As a councillor, when IPM come to the municipality, I will make sure we can help and accommodate any reasonable requests that they might have. We have the experience with the fiddling contest on how the community can rally together and show our northern hospitality. Involvement from schools, children, seniors, businesses, and the municipality will make this a success. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Brisson. Madame Lise Sénécal.
60 secondes. OK. Je crois pour une activité de cette envergure que la chose qui va rassurer ou qui va assurer le succès, c'est que les gens s'impliquent. Quand je parle des gens, là, c'est pas juste un petit groupe, là. Tous les gens qui demeurent dans le West Nipissing se doivent de s'impliquer d'une façon ou d'une autre pour aider à être un succès. Le retour économique est très... Il n'y a même pas 20 millions qu'elle a mentionné, puis c'est pas... moi, je m'en souviens de Sabbath Fellow, j'avais une petite business, puis c'était à l'année que je pouvais des fois me rattraper avec les factures à payer. Alors, c'est comment que c'est très, très important. Puis comme conseillère, si je suis élue, je peux vous rassurer que je vais faire des heures puis des heures de bénévolat, puis ma semaine, elle va être de vacances, elle va être là pour le faire. Puis le conseil municipal se doit à ce moment-là de fournir dans tous les moyens possibles, ce qu'ils peuvent en fait d'équipement, en fait d'aide, en fait de travaux publics, n'importe quoi pour aider à être un succès. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Mme Sénécal. Passons maintenant au quartier 2, M. Pierre Deforge.
I don't have all information for this event at this time, except that it's a major event, which means that to be successful, our resident of West Nipissing needs to be involved. Elected or not, I will volunteer as many hours as I can.
Thank you, M. Deforge. Let's welcome M. Léo Mallette.
Merci. There's already a committee in place, but our role as a councillor is to make sure that they have the proper tools to work with. Personally, myself and my family are planning to help during the week of the plowing match because they will need all the help they can get. And like it was said before, anybody who wants to volunteer, they'll welcome you to open arms. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mallette. Let's pass the mic to Mr. Steve Morrison.
Thanks, Dan. I think the success of this event is quite simple, actually. I think what we need to do to see this event become successful and hopefully do it in the future is to go and educate the residents, educate the people in West Nipissing on what it's all about and get them to buy into the program. Once they've bought in, it's going to be successful. They're going to volunteer their times. It's not council that's going to be able to fill in all the positions. There's a lot of positions to fill in, and I think we need buy-in from the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Passons maintenant la parole à Madame Christine Riberti.
So we already have a great team in place, well organized and confident of what they are doing. To assure the success of the International Plowing Match in 2019, I would make sure we would be all informed about what is going on. Volunteer as many hours as I can, hopefully everyone else, and also keep everyone informed. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Liberty. Entendons maintenant les paroles de Monsieur Yvon Duhaime.
Merci. No one can realize that how huge this event is. It will encompass about 70 to 90,000 people. And to do so, the committee will require many volunteers. And I myself will be volunteering without a doubt. We seek volunteers from throughout West Nipissing, and we may have to go abroad. But let's sell West Nipissing, let's show them what we have. We live in Northern Ontario, and let's show them how great we are. So let's volunteer, let's make this show them that we care and we're there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Duhaime. Now let's listen to Monsieur Daniel Gagnier's answer.
Ben, moi, je peux vous dire, je suis déjà sur la liste de volontaires. Il m'a demandé quoi tu veux faire. J'ai dit n'importe quoi, ça ne me fait pas de différence. Je suis prêt à donner mon temps. Je pense qu'on a une opportunité unique pour démontrer notre histoire de la région, la culture autochtone avec Nipissing First Nation puis la réserve de Dokis, l'agriculture locale, le tourisme, le lac Nipissing et les lacs environnants, nos sentiers de VTT et aussi les pavillons de touristes. Alors, nos tourist lodges aussi, je pense qu'ils vont pouvoir bénéficier pour ceux qui ne veulent pas demeurer dans des roulettes pour toute la semaine. Parce qu'on le sait que nos hôtels, il n'y en a pas tant que ça pour accommoder 80 000 personnes. Et aussi, je pense que notre accueil amical va faire un gros impact sur les gens. Tout partout où on va, les gens, quand tu viens de Sturgeon Falls, ils savent, ils disent toujours, les gens sont très gentils et très accueillants. Merci.
Merci Daniel. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Patrick Kyo.
So the 2019 International Planning Match is probably going to be the biggest event that we'll ever have in our community here. So I think as a councillor, I would support it in every way I can. And actually, I've already started supporting it. Last year was the President of the Chamber of Commerce, and at our AGM in January, I'd requested that we have a presentation for the businesses from the presentations from the committee, so that businesses could learn and figure out how they could capitalize on this event. So that's what I've done so far. Thank you.
Jamie Restwell.
Thank you. On that question, I think what's important for us as a community, if we want to put on the best event that we can, is to make sure that we're aware of the historical data of the event itself. And going back years in past, and especially this year that's coming up, having some of our volunteers travel there, gain that information, gain that experience so that they can bring that back to our community and implement that when we have our event next year. I also think it's important to continue to provide as much support as we can to the committees that are already in place. We have a lot of volunteers who have given their time already, and for us as a council, it's important that we support them any way that we can. I also think it's important that we've already accessed some federal and provincial funding to support the committees and support the work that needs to go on. I think we have to continue to do that, usually funding at the federal and provincial levels on an annual basis. Moving into 2019, we have to make sure that we keep those applications going and make sure the funding is in place so we can support this large event. We have to engage our local businesses to make sure that they're all a part of the team and that they can all benefit from the proceeds of this, and promote locals getting involved as well.
Thank you, Jamie. And finally, please hear Mr. Dan Rovita's answer. Mr. Brady.
What is there to be said when everybody else has said it? What I can say is that because of the work that I've done in volunteerism, I can bring my organization skills to it. We've already embraced, in fact, the event. Cynthia is going to be looking after the choir in conjunction with Madame Baudry. I've already provided Celeste Auger with my commitment to work on the activities for the individuals' wives while they're doing the contest. And I talked to Dan Olivier, who's on the executive, and I offered my organizational skills. This is going to be a showcase. It's going to be a showcase for West Nipissing. We're going to bring in some people into our community, and we must support that. And like my colleagues have said here, we have to educate people, get them out, get them interested in this event, and hopefully we'll make this a great event for West Nipissing. And I think we can do it. Hey, I'm proud of West Nipissing. Let's go. Thank you. So put your running shoes on.
Thank you, Mr. Rovita. This third question is intended for the mayoral candidates. We will start this time with Mr. Dunn, after Mr. Leblanc, Madame Savage, and Mr. Demers. A reminder that you do have 90 seconds to answer this question. What are your thoughts on ethics and transparency in government, and how do you plan on making sure everything you do respects those values? Donc, on vous demande quelles sont vos pensées par rapport au code d'éthique et de la transparence à l'intérieur du gouvernement municipal, et que planifiez-vous de faire afin d'assurer de respecter ces valeurs?
Well, I was brought up with a simple fact. A man is as good as his word. If you say something, you do it. That's my work ethic all through life. I've been everywhere I've worked. I've been the go-to guy. You want something done? Talk to Russ. He'll get it done. And it's the same way in office. You, the people, will put us there. It is you we are responsible to. If you don't like what we do, you know what happens next election. We're either impeached or thrown out. And as Trump is on his way, I guess, too. But the thing is, we have a job to do. We are put there under your trust. And it's your trust that we have to keep. We need your trust. You put us there, you want us to make the community go forward. That is our job. There's no time for arguing amongst each other. There's no time for dissension among the ranks. It's work together as a team. Be accountable to those people who put you there. It is their community. You're the steering wheel. And we do what's best for you and to make us all happy and prosper. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Now let's hear from Mr. Donald Leblanc.
Can you repeat that question?
French or English?
English.
So, Mr. Leblanc, what are your thoughts on ethics and transparency in government, and how do you plan on making sure everything you do respects those values?
Well, again, being a businessman, I intend to be really honest with the public. I intend to give my full open-mindedness to you guys, my honesty. I will work with my councillors to make sure that you are well represented. We will definitely work with our MPs and work with our group of people that we have in West Nipissing, economic partners. I will dedicate my support to various organizations. You can be certain I don't commit anything without giving it my all. Now that my business are supported by an excellent staff, I can dedicate all my time to West Nipissing. Thank you.
Merci, Mr. Leblanc. Now let's hear from Madame Joanne Savage.
Ethics is values, and values describes the qualities of the individual. First and foremost, respect is quite important. Respect is honesty, and respect is appreciation of each other. And as far as working together and teamwork, that has to be stimulated and is the only approach to the success of being able to work within the municipal government and to work on your behalf. We also have to value, when we talk about transparency, making sure that we have an enhanced communication approach, making sure que les gens de notre municipalité de Nipissing-Ouest sont bien renseignés et qu'ils sont renseignés de maintes façons. And we need to reach out to people. We have to be more proactive in making sure that people understand what are the issues that are being dealt with at the municipal level, and that you have the opportunity to be part of that process and part of the decision making. It is really important that municipal government also follows legislation. Sometimes we would like to say something or do something, however, legislation prescribes on exactly how issues are being dealt with. So all of this together to say, moving forward, as an elected official and as mayor, you have to ensure that procedures are in place and that you always adopt the process of values and respect towards you, everyone. Thank you, merci.
Merci, Mme Savage. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Ronald Demers.
Merci, Daniel. The best code of ethics is the one that we impose on ourselves. Le meilleur code d'éthique, c'est celui qu'on s'impose à soi-même. Les écrits, on oublie. Ma mère disait tout le temps que quand on était plus jeune, quand quelqu'un faisait un mauvais coup, puis qu'elle nous rassemblait pour savoir qui avait fait la fausse manœuvre, avant même de commencer, il nous posait la question, il nous disait « Tentez même pas de nous conter des mensonges, t'es pas assez intelligent pour ça. » Alors à partir de là, c'est quelque chose qui nous reste toute une vie, ça. Je répète ma devise, la confiance nous rassemble. Trust brings people together. Half-truth are considered lies. Trust, respect, transparency. Unless we do it on a regular basis and never deviate, I think we're in deep trouble. You lose trust, you lose respect, your code of ethic is out the door. I think it's something that you have to work at, but it's also something that you've learned on your parents' knees. It's not necessarily something that you pick up in books. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le maire. This final pre-submitted question is intended for all the candidates, including the ward candidates and the mayoral candidates. Sachez que tout le monde aura seulement que 60 secondes à répondre, so everybody's going to have only 60 seconds, including the mayoral candidates, to answer this question. Sorry, Madame Sénécal. So here goes. The question is, how do you plan on promoting business growth and economic development in West Nipissing? Comment planifiez-vous de promouvoir le progrès entrepreneurial et le développement économique dans le Nipissing Ouest? Pardonnez-moi, on demande à M. Leblanc de répondre en premier. Excusez.
Okay, merci. Again, the only way we're gonna grow is we have to get our partners to help us out, which is provincial, federal government, and again, I'm mentioning again economic partners, Chamber of Commerce. We really have to get together and try and get some businesses back to Sturgeon Falls, but that's not an easy task. We are a small community. We do have a lot to offer, but then again, we have to try and get some more businesses in, of course. So, I think I'll stick to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsieur Leblanc. Let's now hear from Madame Joanne Savage. Same question.
Merci, thank you. Si on veut voir une croissance, en fait, de développement économique, on doit établir une structure idéale qui va répondre à notre besoin. We need to adopt and reignite the Economic Development Authority Committee, établir le comité. We need to also look at pursuing a new strategic plan for who we are and where we want to be, and at the same time do an inventory of our assets and our land base. Nous appartenons beaucoup de terrains industriels auxquels qui peut être développé. We also have to advocate on marketing and making sure that West Nipissing is on the map, and making sure that it makes it affordable for investment to come and move into West Nipissing. I firmly believe that we should have incentives, because everyone in the outside world is competing for the same thing. If you look at the town of Iroquois Falls, they do have incentives to entice businesses to move there. And we also have to focus on taking care of the actual businesses that we have in our own backyard, and that we can seek on opportunities for expansion. All of this is a combined effort, and let's work also with our regional partners. Merci, thank you.
Merci, Madame Savage. Écoutons maintenant la réponse. Let's now hear from Monsieur Ronald Demers.
Comme toutes les autres communautés au Canada, en Ontario, nous souffrons terriblement. Peut-être que c'est le temps de collectivement demander à la province, demander au gouvernement fédéral de décentraliser les services qu'ils ont. Ce n'est pas nécessairement des subventions qu'on veut, des handouts. C'est du travail qu'on veut, du travail qui paye, du travail avec des avantages sociaux. Alors, peut-être retourner comme on avait fait avec Statistique Canada, puis ça fait de ça donc plusieurs années. Alors, c'est peut-être le temps d'aller voir la province puis leur dire on a besoin de l'aide, on a besoin de l'aide sous la forme d'emploi en décentralisant les services provinciaux et fédéraux. Une autre chose qu'on pourrait faire, c'est que quand tu peux déménager tes travailleurs, c'est beaucoup plus facile de le faire quand tu peux le faire de façon sécuritaire et rapide. Il y a plus de trafic sur la 17 de North Bay à Sudbury qu'il y en a de North Bay à Toronto, à Aurelia. Après ça, ben, c'est un zoo. La même chose avec Sudbury. Alors, pourquoi pas entreprendre le dialogue? Parce qu'il y a déjà eu lieu, ce dialogue-là. Le tracé avait déjà été fait. Merci.
Le temps est écoulé. Pardonnez-moi. Donc maintenant la réponse. Now let's hear from Mr. Russell Dunn.
Okay, this is one of my pet little things that I've been put on my platform. This area is beautiful for tourism, and we can promote it more than we are. As far as getting into sending out feelers into the community to put the provincial community, the federal community, to put Sturgeon Falls on the map, West Nipissing. We have the Trans-Canada Highway coming through town. We have a rail line. Shipping is not an issue. The idea is to use our industrial lands serviced, make the pot so sweet through tax incentives, property incentives. We have the people, we have the land. Do like Alliston did. Make the pot so sweet, the Honda plant built there, 7,000 people working. We can do it here. We have the land and the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Attendons maintenant des candidats du Ward 1, Madame Denise Brisson.
Merci. We need to create partnerships with the existing businesses, partnerships with our federal and provincial governments. They are stingy with their money, but we have to get them to loosen their purse strings so that we can get part of that pot to bring here. There are successes out there. We need to go out and find them. I've heard marketing. Marketing is a great tool. I think we've seen this with the Elliott Lake. I think they had a whole bunch of people moving in there just with their marketing, showing how nice that their properties are and how beautiful their country was. Well, we have better. I think we can go out there and get more.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Brisson. Let's now hear from Lise Sénécal. 60 secondes, Madame Sénécal.
OK. Développement économique. Premièrement, ça nous prend notre comité de développement économique. On a besoin de refaire un comité qui va avoir des membres de cette communauté. We need to start thinking outside the box. We need to look forward, not what we can do only in West Nipissing, what we can bring out. We're talking about bringing our kid. You know what? We need to have diversity on that committee. We need to have fresh ID. We need to look at it as, okay, what do we do to bring our kid? I have a resident on Maurice Road that said, you know, you need to start thinking about the outside the box, even if you have to take Canada or Boreal and look at what course they offer. What they are offering, they're going with the future. They're going with what we need. So if we start looking at that and working outside the box and bring people, he's coming after me again.
Thank you, Madame Sénécal. Thank you very much. Let's now hear Mr. Serge Bourgoin's answer. Monsieur Bourgoin.
Thank you. I think that West Nipissing has a lot of intelligent people around here. We have a lot of businesses ourselves. Like was mentioned before, we have a lot of tourism. We have a lot of trails. We've got the Trans-Canada Highway. We've got the railway. We've got all kinds of opportunity here. I think if we all got together as a group, not just our councillors, but our business people, our Chamber of Commerce, and we all sat down and looked at where we can go, where we can head, and what we can do, we'd be a lot further off than we are today. Even though we're in a good spot, we could be a lot further off. And I think that's what we need to do is look internally and start talking to each other as groups and start making those decisions ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bourgoin. Let's pass the mic now to Monsieur Léo Mallette.
Merci. I think before we start talking about growing in economic development in West Nipissing, we have to think outside the box, like Ms. Sancal said, but to retain the businesses that are already in West Nipissing. That's a big issue. Right now, we're talking about bringing the services to our industrial park with the water and sewers. So we have to bring this infrastructure there before we can bring businesses or factories or whatever in West Nipissing. So we're already in the planning stage, but we have to do a lot more. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsieur Mallette. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de Steve Morrison.
Well, first of all, as far as economic development, we need to reestablish the Economic Development Authority that was abolished 4 years ago. We had a good committee. That needs to be reinstated. Number two, we need to go back out to the local business. They're the ones that have the contacts. They know people. They can bring in different businesses, larger businesses, bigger industry. So that would be the second thing. Third thing, we need to retain our businesses that are in town. We need to see what we can do to help them out if they need help. We got to stop pushing them out the door. Number three, we need to find we need to find a way to educate our youths to be able to be ready for the workforce. Our big issue right now is that we can't find the workforce. It's not there because they've gone away. They're not educated. We need to be able to train them. So we need to go back to the provincial government and figure out if it should be done at the high school level or if there should be a whole new program.
Thank you, Steve. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de Madame Christine Riberti.
Merci, thank you. So we do have great partners in West Nipissing, local, provincial, federal governments. They all work great together. We need to push more, advertise more, like there was already said, incentives. So we need to do this to bring West Nipissing up higher, bring more businesses, and keep our youth working in West Nipissing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Riberti. Let's now hear from Monsieur Pierre Deforge.
We must develop a stronger structure. We must try to attract tourism that will build a better economy. We must, like they said, think outside the box. We must work with our current businesses. And that would create jobs that will bring better economy in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsieur Deforge. Passons maintenant le micro à Monsieur Daniel Gagné.
Merci beaucoup. Moi, je vois vraiment là, pour le développement économique, il faut qu'on pense à une économie globale. The global economy is going to actually decide what kind of businesses are going to come to West Nipissing. I think we have a better chance if our youth, if we can help them to build companies here in West Nipissing by give them tax incentive, help them financially, and also mentor them with current business owners. Because just giving them that little help, having someone to give you some feedback and also to give you some good contacts, I think that's the way to go, and I think that's how our youth are going to stay in West Nipissing. Thank you.
Merci Daniel. Écoutons prochainement de la part de Monsieur Patrick Kio.
I also believe that the committee should be put together and bring everybody at the table, all the big players. I'm talking about government, commerce, everybody out there. There's some intelligent people, as stated before. We need a think tank. We also need to render this municipality a place that's cheap for people to come and invest. I think we need to have incentives. I think that's where we're going. Thank you.
Merci Patrick. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de Yvon Duhaime.
Merci. Well, first of all, I think we need to sell ourselves, and we need to take care of what we have. I'd certainly like to see that committee come back into play. We need to streamline our building permits. We need to quit putting things down their throat. I've spoken to 2 different businesses coming into town, and they told me they had a very hard time introducing themselves to their businesses and bringing it in here and establishing with the permits, the regulations, and that. We need to build infrastructure. We have to have it there at their lot line so that we can avoid the cost. We need to make it interesting for them to come here. The companies, the builders, we need to have them say, well, I want to be in West Nipissing because I love Nipissing, West Nipissing because it's there. And it's there. Yeah? We can certainly invest and make it happen. Infrastructure is a very costly issue, and it's an issue that is damaging us very much. As Leo was mentioned, or other people, let's bring infrastructure into our industrial park. Let's bring infrastructure for all the businesses. Thank you very much.
Merci, M. John. Passons maintenant le micro à M. Dan Ramita.
Oh, not last. Great. I think what we have to do is create an environment where it's open for business, West Nipissing. There's 2 points here. There's economic growth. Let's protect and work with the local business that exists because they're the guys that are paying the taxes right now. Create an environment where they can prosper. And I don't think we're doing too good of a job of that. The second part, I think what we should do is try to get out there and then get people enticed to move into our community. The only way we can do that is to set up an economic development corporation. It's not a committee, it's a corporation. Arm's length from the political world, get the business people coming in. They're the shakers and movers of this community. They'll get the things done, and we can help them by trying to get our fair share of provincial and federal money, which I feel we're not getting. So let's go, let's work hard at it, and basically, we can do this together, West Nipissing. Let's be a positive influence in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. And finally, let's now hear from Mr. Jamie Resto.
Ditto. I think there's been a lot of great ideas that have been shared here, and I certainly support, developing an active committee. I think we've had success in the past. If you look at Genmar, which is now DSI, that was one of the products of us at the AcDev committee enticing a larger scale corporation to come in, bring in jobs, bring in manufacturing, and I think that was a great success. So having that AcDev committee would certainly be great. I think we do have to think outside the box and certainly support lots of our local businesses that we have now and look at those small to medium-sized businesses, but I think there might be opportunities as well for us to be aggressive and look at government agencies as well. We have StatsCan, that's one of the biggest employers in our community. Maybe there's another area that we can entice to bring to our community with our cost of living. It might be something that they'd be interested in looking at. I also think with our agriculture that we have, there's probably spin-off businesses, and I don't have a great deal of background knowledge in that, but if you look at the cannabis that's coming in and being legalized, there are a number of spin-off businesses that could come from that as well. So, I have my own thoughts personally about cannabis itself, but it is an economic opportunity that's going to be coming next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Now, this next question is intended for the ward candidates. Donc, la prochaine question est à l'intention des candidats pour les quartiers. I believe this is a question that comes from the audience, is it not? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So next questions, a reminder, you have 60 seconds to answer. I have a different order as far as the answers are concerned. Donc la prochaine question, what is your ultimate goal for the ward you are running in? What do you want to accomplish? Please be specific. Donc quel est votre but primaire pour le quartier dans lequel vous vous êtes présenté? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez accomplir? S'il vous plaît, soyez spécifique avec votre réponse. On commence avec Madame Lise Sénécal.
Bien, moi là, je suis rendue à 458 portes que j'ai cognées. Puis je m'en rappelais pas parce que la dernière fois j'ai fait ça en 2002. Puis ce que je peux apporter à quartier numéro 1, à part de répondre à leurs questions et d'être là pour les autres, ce que j'ai entendu, c'est les fossés. Il faut qu'ils soient nettoyés, qu'on peut nettoyer notre cour puis que ça paraisse bien. J'ai entendu les routes. J'ai entendu Nipissing qui veulent avoir l'eau. Il y a ce côté de la rue qui l'a, puis l'autre, il l'a pas. J'ai entendu des Trisac qui veulent continuer. Alors ça, c'est des choses que j'ai entendues dans les maisons. Il y a d'autres choses qui sont survenues. Le monde sont satisfaits. Le monde aime Nipissing West. Mais le monde, il y a des choses, petites choses qui ont l'air, mais pour eux autres, c'est grave. Comme un fossé, je ne peux pas croire que combien de fois j'ai entendu « Garde mon fossé en avant, puis peux-tu me le nettoyer? Ça coûte si cher que ça. Ça vaut la peine de payer mes taxes, nettoyer ces fossés-là. » Il y a eu des personnes qui ont emmené Bon, ben là, tu vois, là, la petite carte rouge est élevée.
Merci beaucoup, madame.
Juste comme je suis bien parti en bonne gear, là, putain.
Thank you. You might change your mind and meet me in the parking lot. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Serge Bourgoin.
Thank you. Being in business, I heard a lot of people complaining in the area, raising concerns. So that's why I decided to run and do something about it. Due to the fact I've been looking into that for the last 3 years now. It's supposed to be coming this year. So was Garden Village Road. It was supposed to be coming this year. Now it's canceled. The one thing I'd like to do is get Garden Village Road back on the table for next year. Maybe look at the Garden Village Reserve to get to pay their share. I don't think our people of West Nipissing should be carrying all the cost of that. There's a ton of traffic that goes there, and I don't think we should be carrying all the costs. There's a lot of issues out there. I'm looking at having quarterly meetings in my ward so that people can come and see where we're heading, what we're looking at doing, and me too.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bourgoin. Let's now hear the answer from Madame Denise Brisson.
Merci. Oh, I think we all have the same ideas, but Ward 1, I think, is the best ward in all of West Nipissing. It is beautiful. But we do have our challenges. The challenges are the same, I think, in every ward. We have the sidewalks, we have the roads, we have the water and sewer lines. We have, in some areas, street lighting, which is not the best. Dutrisac Road, they wanted street lights there also. And as Monsieur Bourgoin said, I think a partnership with Garden Village would be a perfect idea and a perfect opportunity to make Dutrisac Road and Garden Village also a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Brisson. Let's hand over the mic now to Steve Morrison.
Thanks, Dan. First thing we need to do, I think, is create a list. Put a plan together so that we can answer questions. People ask us, when is my ditch going to be done? When is my road going to be done? I think if we had a proper schedule, we'd be able to provide people with answers, and I think if we provided people with answers, they'd be somewhat satisfied. Not completely, but at least satisfied. But one of the things that has to be attacked, for sure, is, I don't know if any of you have driven through Cache Bay, but those growing manholes need to be adjusted. Because if you're not riding a 3/4 or 1 ton, say goodbye. So that would be my priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de Madame Christiane Liberty.
Thank you. Okay. So my issue would be making sure you are heard, listening to what we need to do. Roads, everywhere. Doesn't matter. So we need a plan. My plan is to listen, to go and check, to see, night or day, Sunday, Monday, whatever. That is my goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Liberty. Now let's hear from Monsieur Pierre Deforge.
Since I started the campaign, I knocked on 1,200 doors so far. And the most things I heard so far was the ditch, roads, and street lighting. I would personally consult with the people of my ward to see what is their wants and needs, and work my hardest to serve the people of Ward 2, if I'm elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsieur Deforge. Passons le micro maintenant à Monsieur Léo Mallette.
See, Ward 2, like Steve has said, especially Ritchie Road in Cache Bay, it needs to be redone. And a lot of roads in Ward 2, because it is a big area. The waterfront. We need, like I said before, we need infrastructure in the industrial park. That's in Ward 2. And we have to renovate the community center in Cache Bay. That's one of my pet peeves. And especially the turning lane on LeBlanc Road. It is a very, very dangerous left turn to take the LeBlanc Road to go to the museum or go to the park. It is very, So that's my priority is the left turning lane on LeBlanc Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mallet. Now let's hear from Mr. Pat Pugh.
Oh, Ward 3 is the better ward. So I think there's a couple things I think I'll be looking at. First of all, the infrastructures, everybody's been talking about streets, but I think Ward 3 has some major roads that would have to be fixed up. We're talking about the Sabourin, Sand Hill, Ethel, Nipissing. And the other thing that I think we're looking at is snow removal. Snow removal in the downtown is, I don't know, it's just, people can't even get out of their cars to get into the post office. Something's going to have to be done about that. And the other thing that I've been hearing and knocking on doors as well is a water bill. We're paying outrageous amounts of money for the water bills. We're going to have to look at that. That's what I look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Donc maintenant la réponse de M. Yvon Duhaime.
Thank you very much. Well, Pat, it said a lot of things that I was going to say, but street lighting, sidewalks, ditches. This week I had 7 calls. Of the 7 calls, 6 of them had to do with ditches. And all the calls I've received in the last 4 years, 90% had to do with ditches. So I think we should be looking at ditches. If you recall, the last 4 years I've been pushing to get a snowblower for the downtown core. Thank God we got it. It fills up a 10-ton truck or whatever in 27 seconds. I stood behind it. You wanted to fill up my truck, I didn't let him. But nevertheless, this is what we do. We move ahead, we do things positive, and I think, you know, like Ward 3, I love Ward 3, I live in it. Across the bridge, no playground. I think we should look at having a playground. Why not? If we're building there, there's a lot of houses coming up, and I'm willing to work with the people to create a playground for our kids. There's none at all, other than at school, and we're not allowed to use it. So, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Duhaime. Now let's hear from Mr. Jamie Reston. Yes, sorry, Dan. I don't have my glasses on. I apologize. So, Mr. Dan Gagné. How do you guys know this?
Moi, chez lui, je vais écouter les gens du quartier 3, puis je vais les consulter aussi sur une base régulière. J'aimerais créer un comité pour pouvoir avoir des rencontres, une base régulière, pour pouvoir vous entendre, pas seulement vous m'appeler quand ça va pas bien ou les fossés sont pas bien. Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup d'améliorations qu'on peut faire. Comme M. Yvon a mentionné, lui, il aimerait ça bâtir un parc. Moi, je sais qu'on a 2 parcs, un à P12, puis un à l'école jeunesse active. En étant un taxpayer, je sais qu'on peut utiliser le parc à cette école-là. Je pense qu'on devrait créer des espaces verts dans des places où ce qu'on pourrait en faire, puis offrir des différentes choses à nos enfants. Je veux qu'on travaille ensemble, puis qu'on règle les problèmes ensemble. Pas moi régler les problèmes, mais travailler ensemble pour trouver des solutions en équipe. Pour le quartier 3, votez Dan Gagné. Merci.
Thank you. Now let's hear from Dan Revita. No, I'm kidding. I thought you would react this time. It's Mr. Jamie Resto's turn. How did you not know this time? Sorry, Dan.
Well, I think in our ward, we've been fortunate. I've done some advocating to get some of these, you hear a lot about the streets and those kind of upgrades. I said it in my opening, we have Michaud, we have Levad, we have Golf Course Road, we have Goulart Road. We've done a lot of infrastructure improvements, and I think that's great for the people in our ward. I think if we're focusing on other areas, if we look at our Center of Health Excellence that we have with the Au Chateau, with the hospital, with the Community Health Center, we have to look at the redevelopment of the Au Chateau. It's going to be a big issue that's coming up, and it's not something that we can leave until 2020 and find out that we're going to have a huge bill in our hands. So if we can be proactive that way in addressing the needs of our seniors and our health, I think that's important. The other thing that's a huge issue, and I mentioned it earlier, is the drug issue. And I think for community safety within our ward, we have to work with our police, we have to work with our health professionals, and we have to clean up our streets so our kids can be safe and our seniors can be safe as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Now let's hear from Mr. Dan Revita.
Thank you, Daniel. I think one of the things that I've been hearing from my area is that, first of all, they want a person that they can consult with, a person that is approachable, and a person that they can call, and a person that will work on their behalf. That I promise to do. Secondly, I think what we have to do is we have to work on the Goulart Park, start working on the plans that were previously submitted and start working at that. Another thing that I think that we have to work at is we need a sidewalk on Corsal Road. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we had a very, very bad event where a lady was hit. We have to get a sidewalk on Corsal Road from John to Front. It's been in the working, nobody's been pushing for it. I will push for it. Another thing that I've been hearing, we need a respite program or develop a day, not a daycare, but a day program for our elderly that suffer from dementia. It's a big issue in our area. Every second door that I did, people were saying, what am I going to do with my person that suffers with dementia? It is bad. Let's help our elderly, and I think the only way is to develop a good day program for people that suffer from dementia.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you, Mike.
This final question was primarily intended for the ward candidates, but because of time restriction, dû à des restrictions de temps, puisqu'il est déjà 9h moins 20, nous allons poser la question aux candidats à la mairie. So this question will now be intended for the mayoral candidates instead of the ward candidates due to this time restriction. So here we go. The order of the answers will be Madame Savage at first, Monsieur Demers, Mr. Dunn, and finally Monsieur Leblanc. So the question is, as you are aware, marijuana will be legalized as of next month. Are you in favor of this new regulation, and do you feel that there are any opportunities related to this for West Nipissing? Donc, comme vous le savez, la marijuana sera légalisée à partir du mois d'octobre. Est-ce que vous êtes d'accord avec cette nouvelle loi? Et pensez-vous qu'il y a des opportunités avec cette nouvelle loi pour le Nipissing West? Nous commençons avec la réponse de Madame Savage.
Yes, I agree with the new legislation. And the reason that I agree, not because I'm a consumer and I don't want you guys to leave here thinking that I'm using cannabis every time. However, what happens is October 17, you're going to be able to access and purchase marijuana online. The provincial government is working at the legislation for the retail sale of recreational cannabis to take place in mid-April. And they're also working out the logistics pertaining to the licensing. We know that once the new council is elected, they need to make a decision. Because if council agrees, and I would recommend to them that they support it, we need to also make amendments to the zoning bylaw. Because you have to make decisions of where the retail establishments are going to be located, how far from a school, how far from a daycare, and also the cannabis tax that's going to be provided by the provincial government. Right now they've committed to 2 years, but we're also advocating that we want sustainable funding to make sure that we can enforce it, regulate it, and make sure that we can work with our supporting agencies, that they can also adopt the requirements of meeting the terms and conditions of what's being proposed by the provincial government. So yes, I do endorse it.
Thank you, Madame Savage. Maintenant, la réponse de Monsieur Ronald Demers.
That's a tough one. My devise, legal or not, I don't smoke pot, but it's coming. We have to be prepared for it. The federal government brought this out with very little thought as to how it's going to be enforced, how it's going to be applied. I don't think we're ready for it. The provincial government said, in its wisdom, you have the option of getting in or out. Once you're in forever. If you're out and you want to reconsider, if you want to think about it, if you want to wait until the medical association and the police associations are all on the same line, then you can opt in. But until we have those guarantees from all those professionals that know a lot more about this than we do, all the problems that it can bring, the financial aspect of it is secondary in my opinion. I think that we have to be prepared for it. I think that we have to be comfortable with the decision that we're going to make.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Demers. Now let's hear from Mr. Russell Dunn.
Okay, I look like the young guy here. All right. I believe North Bay went for it 9-1. We should very well go for it. One, when retail can get into it, stores will open here creating jobs. Stores hire employees, more jobs. it's taxable. Government controls its quality, the amounts, and how it's sold. And when the government controls quality, Joe Blow of no fixed address is out of business because you don't know what his stuff is containing, whether it be rat poison, window cleaner, or turpentine. But it's regulated. The government has the control on the quality. It is also like alcohol. Somebody saw my interview on Facebook. All right. With alcohol, a whole bunch of people get together, and there's usually a fight. What happens when a whole bunch of people smoke pot? They order pizza. And it's non-violent. But like alcohol, you are the control board. It's your choice on how much you consume. You're your own alcohol cannabis control board. How much you consume, whether you use it in sociable, light use, or get wasted on it. Pardon the expression. It is your choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Last but not least, now let's hear from Mr. Donald Leblanc.
Well, I'm like Mr. Demers. I don't smoke pot, never done drugs. But our government has decided it's the law. We can go ahead with it. So it's not up to me to decide whether it's wrong or okay. So the government said, yeah, we're good to go. It's the law. It's, we're selling liquor. We have a liquor license. It's the same thing. So we gotta grab the opportunity. The only thing is we're gonna have to work with our police force. Hopefully there'll be a lot of training done. And we have to work with our healthcare because we're gonna have to educate these people. And also, well, it's gonna stop a lot of people from buying drugs on the street. Whether they buy it in a local store in Sturgeon Falls, some people won't agree that there'll be local entrepreneurs that are gonna open up a couple stores, but they're buying them on the street anyway, so they might as well buy them in a store that's gonna be safe, and we're gonna gain on the economics of it. And North Bay, of course, has already acted on it, so I think, like Joanne said, our next council should act pretty fast on this one to get business rolling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. We have a rebuttal. Madame Senecal would like to use a minute. Can she do that? It's 30 seconds, but she's got two up. So nice try, Madame Senecal. 30 seconds.
Nothing like trying. 30 seconds. I want to say in 30 seconds that I know a couple of years ago even, if somebody would have said, yes, are you in agreement, I would have tried to fight it. But I see kids dying every month in my work because of the garbage they're taking on the street. So right now, it will be safe at least. If we all think that because it's not legalized, that none of our kids are doing it, it's like, you know, when they're young and yes, they gotta wait till they're married so they can do whatever they have to do to get babies. And if they're not gonna drink till they're 21 or they're gonna smoke pot when they're 18, we're all wrong. I worked for the last 30 years with youth, with street kids, correctional, and what it's creating right now, you have to be ready for it because it's mental health. It's triggering so much mental health in our community, and it's just starting. So we need to have a good attitude. Don't touch me.
Thank you, I guess we don't need alcohol for a fight, Mr. Dunn. All right, thank you to all the candidates. Un gros merci à tous les candidats pour leur excellente réponse. Now know that each candidate, both mayoral and ward candidates, will have 1 minute to conclude. We will ask all the candidates to stand up here at the mic. We have rebuttal cards. Yeah, but we'll build a little council with that later. Yeah, I think she's still allowed to rebuttal? No. Try McDonald's, maybe. So everybody's going to have 1 minute to conclude. 1 minute, on vous demande de s'avancer ici au micro pour le faire. Donc nous allons, avec la même ordre que vous vous êtes présentés, nous allons conclure par contre avec les 4 candidats de maire. So the 4 last people that will speak will be the 4 mayoral candidates. So let's hear the concluding words, first of all, from Monsieur Serge Bourgoin. 1 minute from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for taking their time tonight, for coming out and listening to us. I'd like to thank all the candidates for their responses, and thank you for the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this. As you can probably tell from a lot of my responses, I am not a political guy. I'm a business guy, and I'm a people guy. The only thing I can offer you is honesty and integrity. For those of you that don't know me, please come and see me at the flea market. You'll get to know me really quick. I won't promise you nothing because I'm not a politician. The only thing I will say is you'll get 100% of me. And if I win, you win. Thank you very much. Good night. Please vote for Sturgeon Burbank.
Thank you, merci M. Bourgoin. Écoutons maintenant de la part de Mme Denise Bisson.
Merci. J'aimerais commencer en remerciant la Chambre de commerce. Merci, c'était très apprécié. And as we've heard, I think we have a lot and many challenges ahead of us. Je m'engage à un autre 4 ans pour vous, avec vous, à vos côtés, à défendre nos valeurs. I make but one promise, to keep making my decisions based on facts, with integrity and honesty, in service to my constituents with an open door and a listening ear. Mon désir est de continuer à chérir et à préserver notre sens de communauté, and pressing ahead to assure a prosperous future. Merci.
Thank you, Mme Bisson. Now let's hear the final words from Mme Lise Sénécal.
Okay. Bien, vraiment, là, je suis vraiment fière d'être venue chez vous. Puis je suis fière aussi d'être capable de me tenir ici ce soir et de pouvoir honnêtement dire qu'en tant qu'ancienne conseillère municipale pour le quartier numéro 1 pour 12 ans, j'ai toujours pris mes responsabilités sérieusement. J'ai représenté les résidents du quartier avec intégrité. J'ai répondu à leurs questions. Ils n'ont pas toujours aimé mes réponses, mais j'ai répondu. Et je compte continuer à le faire si je suis élue. I'm proud to be able to stand here tonight, to be able to honestly say that I have a holding track of 12 years. I did represent the resident of Ward 1 with integrity. I did ask questions. I did answer questions. Finalement, je demande aux gens du quartier numéro 1 de me faire confiance pour les prochains 4 ans, que je puisse leur démontrer que j'ai autant d'énergie, je parle autant, et je te remercie. J'ai une petite carte rouge, ça ne fonctionne pas ici. Hein? En tout cas, merci. Votez Sénécal, quartier 1.
I was a little scared. Écoutons maintenant les mots de conclusion de M. Pierre Deforge. M. Deforge.
I do apologize for tonight. I'm very nervous. Because like I said earlier, I knocked on 1,200 doors. I'm not done yet. I still have about 800 doors to do, so I'll be knocking the door if I haven't been there. I would like to ask the residents of Ward 2 to vote for me. If you're elected, I will give you 110% to represent you to the best of my abilities, to work towards bringing more tourist attraction, to be accessible and attentive, to help with economic growth, but all to listen and to serve the people I represent in Ward 2 and West Nipissing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deforge. Now let's hear the final words from Madame or Mr. Steve. No, Leo Mallet. Again, I have my glasses. Always with you, Mr. Mallet. I apologize.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this debate, and also the other 3 candidates in Ward 2. Thank you so much for being civil in this campaign. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask all the people in Ward 2 to continue supporting me for the next 4 years like you've done in the last 12 years. And especially my family. I know it's been tough on them too with my issues and my work. And thank you so much. And my daughter Linda came down from Sudbury this evening to to support me. So again, thank you very much. We've had some tough decisions to take in the last term, and then we will continue to have more tough decisions, but I will be there to support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mallet. Let's please invite Mr. Steve Morrison to the mic. Steve.
Thanks, Dan. In closing, I'd like to thank Dan and the Chamber of Commerce for tonight's debate. J'aimerais remercier M. Marleau et la Chambre de commerce pour le débat ce soir. I'd also like to wish all the best to all the candidates in their respective campaigns. By putting yourselves out there, you have all demonstrated you believe in our community, and as a fellow citizen, I thank you for getting involved in trying to improve life here in West Nipissing. J'aimerais remercier tous les gens qui se sont présentés ce soir. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, listening to our ideas. And I'd like to have the vote for the people in Ward 2. Merci beaucoup, bonsoir.
Thank you, Steve. Écoutons maintenant les mots de conclusion de Mme Christine Riverdi. Madame Riverdi.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the volunteers, Chamber of Commerce, and you guys for coming out to listen to us. We were all civil, which was great. So now I am totally committed to representing Ward 2, but also the whole of West Nipissing. I want to be your voice. Change is always scary, but also good. We need new views and opinions to operate a great municipality. In final, I am looking forward to representing Ward 2 and also the whole West Nipissing. On October 22nd, vote for Christine Riberty. We will work together for a better and bigger West Nipissing. Thank you.
Merci, Mme Riverdi. Écoutons maintenant les mots de M. Yvon Duhaime.
Je voudrais remercier à la Chambre de commerce. Je voudrais remercier aux gens qui sont ici ce soir. C'est bien beau de vous avoir. I promise to work with other councillors in a respectful and consultative manner for the good of all. I would want to be treated with mutual respect and acknowledgement with a common goal in improving the economic and social life of this community. We need to encourage people to speak their mind, to share their concerns and their thoughts. I'm only one person, but I'm the person who listens, who is accountable, who cares, and who works for their heart for this Ward 3. Je demande pour votre vote sport pour quartier 3. I respectfully ask for your vote on October 22nd, and I thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you, M. Duhaime. Écoutons maintenant les mots de conclusion de M. Daniel Grenier. Daniel.
Alors, merci à la Chambre de commerce et merci à tous vous d'avoir participé. C'est pas mal impressionnant. Je ne m'attendais pas de voir tant de personnes que ça, surtout qu'il faisait si beau dehors. Mais je suis content que vous êtes ici. Je vous promets d'être responsable du côté financier avec votre argent. Je vous promets de consulter et de communiquer avec les gens du quartier 3. Puis aussi, je vous promets un futur positif en avançant dans le futur. Alors, s'il vous plaît, votez pour Dan Gagné, quartier 3. Suivez ma page Facebook. Puis, je suis en train de faire mon porte-à-porte. Vous allez me voir, ça ne sera pas long. Et juste pour clarification, je ne suis pas le Dan Gagné qui appartenait à Carrie Hall Builder. Et si vous l'aimez, votez pour moi quand même. Merci beaucoup, bonsoir.
I am in Ward 3. I was just going to ask if I could get a rebate on lumber, but I guess there's no point. Je vous présente maintenant M. Patrick Quillot.
Thank you everyone for coming out in such big numbers and showing this great interest in local politics. Merci beaucoup d'être venus ici. I want to thank everybody, Chamber, Dan, everybody who helped out here. I've been walking around and knocking on doors and I've met a lot of people and I'm anxious to meet the rest of you. And what else I want to say? Oh, I want to thank Dan and Yvon for volunteering to help me once I'm elected.
Merci Patrick. Écoutons maintenant les mots finaux de Mr. Jamie Restool. Jamie, if you will.
How do you follow that? Just want to say thanks again to the Chamber and to Dan for all your work setting this up and for your great job moderating. Didn't have to dust up the knuckles here tonight. I just want to close by saying there's no doubt that we need a strong team of leaders at our council table. We as a community need to ensure that we have a wide range of skills and backgrounds, whether it be from the business sector, education, or other areas. We've heard a lot of issues this evening that touch on areas of health, from illicit drugs and cannabis, housing for seniors, and supports to ensure our youth stay healthy and active. I believe my professional background and experience in policy development and health, and my professional relationship with ministers and staff at both the provincial and federal level position me as an excellent member of council to lend my knowledge and expertise on the issues for our beautiful community. We will need to use these relationships as we look for support from other levels of government to move our community's vision forward. In addition to this, experience cannot be understated. 11 years at the council table has taught me the highs and lows, and we've been through a lot as a community. I've always taken an honest and respectful approach at the table, and this will not change. Thank you, and please vote Jamie Restool.
Thank you, Jamie. And finally, écoutons le mot de conclusion de M. Dan Revilla. Thank you.
I feel that I was disadvantaged all night being the last person up all the time, but I'll try my best. I'm going to promise you in front of everybody, and thank you very much to the Chamber for putting this on. I promise to respect my fellow councillors, work with council, and be transparent, open, respect the opinions of the people that live and work in my ward, Ward 4. Consult with you, and in every 3 months, having consultation, either town hall meetings or have an open policy in the sense of having an open office hours. Continue to work as a volunteer and work on your issues. As other people have said, what I want to try to do and what I will work for is ensure tax rates reflect the services, seek out fair share of federal provincial money, get our fair share of the regional programs that have, i.e. The health unit, DSAP, make sure that we have fair money there, and implement a recreation committee. I think that we need it. So thank you very much. I really respect you people. I can't say the 22nd of October, vote Dan Rovita because it's not the 22nd of October. And Dan, okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much, people.
Thank you, Mr. Rovita. Thank you all. So final words from myself, les derniers mots de ma part. As you know, and as I told you at first, oh, I'm sorry. I told you I had a roast in the oven. It's 9 o'clock. All right. So, same amount of time, 60 seconds? Okay, let's hear then from, let's start with Monsieur Demers, since he's given me the dirty look.
I'm so cheap, my 3 cards are for sale. Every 4 years at election time, voters need to take a step back and look at the big picture, to determine where we are as a community and ask ourselves the following questions. Are we satisfied with the present climate surrounding City Hall? Has being a councillor serving the public been a rewarding, enjoyable, fulfilling experience? Has the process of decision-making been one done with pride, respect, and trust? From my perspective, from what I see, from what I hear, what I read, and from the comments I received during the campaign, the answer is no. Not for the public, not for councillors, not for administrators, and not for staff. On October 22nd or before, you will be asked to choose a mayor and council whose only mandate is to work together for the good of its citizen. You have a choice to make. If you believe that things are good, great, running smoothly, you can vote the status quo. If not, you have options. I offer my time, my expertise, my knowledge of good governance to serve you as mayor. Merci pour votre présence, bonne réflexion et bonne fin de soirée.
Merci beaucoup, M. Demers. Entendons maintenant les mots de conclusion from Mr. Russell Dunn.
Sorry, my notes washed off. I want to do my best for this community. It has given me so much, I want to return it. To lead, if I can, to the best of my ability, bring this community forward with progress through jobs, helping our youth, taking care of our seniors. It's our responsibility to look after those who looked after us and to leave a good legacy for those we leave behind. I know there are probably people who don't know who I am. I'm everybody's Uncle Russ. And for those who curse me every day going down Salter Street, the Grosier stop sign, you're welcome. And I just want to do my best for you, the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Now let's hear the final words from Monsieur Donald Leblanc.
Bon ben, merci d'avoir venu ce soir. On est un bon groupe. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. And most of all, I want to thank my daughter that's sitting in the crowd for listening to me for the past 2 months. I think a lot of people know here I can really put in the time. I can run a council, I can run a staff. When you're a mayor, you're head of council, you work with your council to ensure that the administration carries out the duties and priorities of the municipality. So the mayor needs the support of his or her council to carry the platform. So to do this, I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm a good listener, and I will listen to the public. Sometimes, change is good. We want to make a difference. There's a lot of new people around. Make a change, make something else happen. And if you vote for me, I'll make sure that Mr. Dunn gets a piece of pizza. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. And finally, now let's hear the conclusive words from Madame Joanne Savage. Madame Savage.
Merci à la Chambre de commerce et à Dan pour tout ceci ce soir. Thank you for all of you coming out this evening. I have to say that I've been very privileged and humbled to work on the behalf of all residents of West Nipissing. Tellement fière de tous les accomplissements que nous avons atteints ensemble. When I say that Money Sense described that West Nipissing was the #1 place in all the cities throughout all of Canada with the lowest taxes. When we look at the population growth in West Nipissing, the last 3 census that were conducted by StatsCan, we are the only one in Northern Ontario that had an increase. 20 new jobs, 8 new positions in the last 4 years. The new health center. Those were all projects that I actively participated and worked with various sectors within the community. I will continue to be devoted, engaged, and provide the time, the energy that's required. Make sure that each community maintains their identity, but most of all, I'm going to be working with you. I'm going to be listening to you. I'm going to be going out to your communities every 2 months to get your feedback, get your concerns, work with everyone, and we're going to move forward for progress. Vote Joanne Savage. Merci. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Savage. Now it's my turn for my final words. I apologize against the mayoral candidates. Un rappel que demain soir, cette même soirée aura lieu à Verner. So tomorrow night, don't forget that at the Verner Arena, I believe, is it Jordan, at the arena? I've just been timed out, I gotta go. My roast is burning anyways. No, I'd just like to remind everybody, so we won't have the mayor or the ward candidates tomorrow, seulement les conseillers des wards 5 jusqu'à 8 demain seront. Par contre, les candidats à la mairie seront présents demain. So all the candidates for the mayoral candidates will be present tomorrow in Verna, at the Verna Arena. but the ward candidates from wards 5 through 8 will be present in Vernon tomorrow, same time, 7 to 9. I said at the beginning that you would have a chance to mingle with all the candidates. I'd like to also let you know that you will also have a chance to mingle. Vous allez avoir la chance de jaser aussi avec des candidats qui se présentent pour des conseils scolaires. Donc we have present here with us in the hall 3 candidates from the Near North District School Board. 3 of those, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jay Aspen. Jay, if you will raise your hand. Mr. Frank O'Hagan, and Madame April LeBlanc. Not sure if she's among us tonight. No, she's not, but she's another one of the candidates. So you'll have a chance to talk with these gentlemen as well. Finalement, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, they asked me to thank everyone here tonight, all the members of the audience, as well as all the candidates and the volunteers. Donc un gros merci de la part de la Chambre des commerces à vous tous de la foule, à tous les candidats et aux volontaires. Un gros merci encore. Bonne soirée à tous.